Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. In today's topic, this Filipino family in Las Vegas got their remindment. But how many within Asianness, the one this applies to, that are very quiet on the continuous centuries going anti Black American racial terrorism? Again, quietness. So you got people that just showed up in America at half a blink of an eye. That just showed up. And while they showing up, anti-American Black racism, terrorism has been going on when they just showed up still. Now, relating to this topic here, let's get this out the way. There are numbers of good Filipinos and there are numbers of coon Filipinos. There are numbers of bad Filipinos. There are ones that will play both fence of the side of ones that will play their Asian when they want to be Asian, ones that want to play where they're Asian, but they are of this place. You get the point, right? But just keep this in mind as I'm sitting there showing you this particular topic, right? How people get very quiet on this hype part of it. Let me sit there and share my screen. I did a couple of, well, more than a couple of, but I'm just showing you a couple of different podcasts I did on the Real CP Show one, right? This is one of the topics relating to this kind of topic too. As you see, make sure you can see that. Hold on. Yeah. Thao, this particular Asian male officer, no, DEI, right, was found guilty in a role, his coward role against George Floyd, unalivement, right? But they don't want to talk about this. So you had Thao, this particular Asian, however, him, parents fled themselves, right? Like how many others, to America, and don't give a damn about Black pain. They were over to America to get theirs. And how many watch what American Blacks have been doing, right? So American Blacks, hey man, you know, this is racism toward Black folks. You got certain ones within certain Asianness relating to this topic. Oh my goodness, we're having racism. Oh, American Blacks saying, hey man, that's a hate crime. You got certain ones within certain Asianness. Oh my goodness, we experience hate crime. Other personnel, you know, some other Asianness relating to this topic. Well, you know, some Black folks saying, hey man, you know, it's American Blacks saying, hey man, they don't like us because of color of skin. You got some certain Asianness saying, oh my goodness, they don't like us because of color of skin. You got some American Blacks saying, hey man, if this was vice versa and Black people were doing this to certain ones within Anglo-ness, oh my goodness, it'd be very different. You got some other person that was in certain Asianness. Oh my goodness, if we were not Asian, you know, it would be different. If, you know, it would have been probably different if, you know, if we were doing that to an Anglo personnel. You see the regurgitating silliness of how one sit there and watch what American Blacks are doing, going through, but they won't sit there and be right by American Blacks help fighting it. Do you see how that goes? Right now, American Blacks don't need them at all, regardless. But it's the point they sit back and watch what American Blacks have been doing. Just like somebody says the Black Panthers. You got how many other people sitting there copy some Black Pantherness, right? You see how that goes. Black American people do some civil rights. How many other personnel start talking about civil rights? American Blacks start talking about white supremacists. You some other groups and cultures talking about white supremacists. I mean, the game. That means American Blacks don't even see this stuff. What people keep copying. This is one show, right? Now let me sit there and share my screen for another related to this topic they won't talk about, right? Since you're gonna hear this in a little bit when people like they try to use a generic generalization of saying Asian, right? Hold on. This right here. Oh my goodness. This one wild right here. This is definitely a wild show. Well, you know what? Hold on for a second. Let me get this out. Let me get that out here. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay, there we go. So you see our let me. This deadly Asian woman takes the life of a 17-year-old American Black teen female. Oh, excuse me, I almost forget. The two Thao, right? Now, George Floyd situation happened with that demonic Chauvin, right? When it's KKK nasty knees on top of that Black American George Floyd, right? That was having, he would have some kind of mental situation going, right? It didn't matter. They don't give a damn about anything dealing with Black Americans going through mental situations. The ones who do, they don't give a damn about that, right? Now, it's unfunny how you have Harvard every freaking day some person that would insert angle in this that doing criminality, and the first thing how many people say, oh, they suffering from mental illness. Oh, they fentanyl overdosing, opioid overdosing. Overdosing. Oh my goodness. Well, they got a thing to do with them personally. They're just suffering from mental illness. But back in the 80s and 90s, when you had crack cocaine that was being introduced in certain types of Black neighborhoods, because overall Black Americans don't do substances like that. But when ones that were getting hooked like that, it was just say no. And they were locking Black American males, especially like it was candy apples. Where's all these pseudo Asianist type personnel then in 80s and 90s? Oh, I forgot many would even exist like that. Their numbers were small, right? But at the same time, numbers of American Blacks, the ones who know that know, were getting anti-American Black hatred by certain types of Asians. See how that goes, right? Oh, they don't want to talk about that, right? They play dumb. So to Thao, he wouldn't even allow other people to sit there and help try to, take care of George Floyd, right? So nasty knees, demonic KKK Chauvin had his knee on George Floyd's neck for almost 10 minutes. Just act like he was sitting there kneeling down, relaxing somewhere, right? Just relaxing. Now, if it was vice versa, and there was a Black man, and he had his knee on the back of a Anglo male's neck for 10 minutes, there would have been outrage to say, hey, man, we got to pass laws. Now, were there laws passed after Chauvin, nasty KKK knees, Chauvin put his nasty knees on back of George Floyd's neck for almost 10 minutes? Were those anti-American Black laws put because of that? Of course not. But prior to this second Trumpness, right, other than the last 4 years, anti-Asian hate crime law was passed. What? So the most #1 hated group in America over centuries. This is crime statistics. People love trying to play little statistics. Oh my goodness, Black people committing crime. You say which crimes? Because 80 to 90% it's numbers of males and certain numbers of women within the predominant culture commit the most crimes. Try again. Right? But they know it's not enough American Blacks to sit there and checkmate that nonsense. Right? I make this point. The #1 group who have the most hate crimes put upon them is American Blacks. But there's no hate crime laws. What? The 4 largest populations in America, white, used to be American Black, but that's a whole different agenda on that. Now, American Blacks are the 3rd largest population. The 2nd largest population of Hispanics. Within that Hispanicism, it would be more Mexicans. So they are the largest Hispanic group within Hispanicism in America, right? So you got a white, whatever that's supposed to mean, because you got some people that slide under the banner of white, just like the little dash, little Russian, little white personnel that instigated that brawl in Cincinnati. But you have however numbers of various sections of main media, right? That shouldn't act like that is these Black folks just attack these little innocent little Anglo-adjacent type whites. Right? See how that game goes. So that person can be Russian and they can slide under the banner of white in America. It could be German, right? Slide under the banner of German. It can be Czechoslovakian, slide under the banner of white. You get the point, right? White Hispanic, slide under the banner of white. See how these little games go, right? So Derek showed so to Thao, that little coward, he didn't do nothing to stop his God that he looked at as God, known the people within a certain part of predominate culture, he didn't do nothing to say, hey man, get your knees off his George Floyd's neck, right? This one right here, this deadly Asian woman that took the life of a 17-year-old American Black girl teen. You hear too much about that. This is why I wanted to do a show on that. Right? Sometimes you have shows, sometimes you don't, but I wanted to do a show on this as a timepiece purpose. There's a 17-year-old Black girl. She was minding her business, doing her thing. I think she was going to work, whatever it is, because Black people are lazy. Well, you got people that got their damn hands out getting more food stamps than American Blacks. People that sit there and flee from their own damn country, get on government programs, stuff like that. That's fun. Anyway, I'm going to all that. They think they're sneaky as hell. I despise sneaky ass people that do stuff that they know they're doing, but trying to act like Black American people are some lazy people when Black American people build this damn country more than anybody else besides certain ones that put on its culture. So go to hell, the ones who play that tactic. Go straight to hell. So in this situation, again, look at this face. Oh, she looks so innocent, but she's deadly because she took the life of an American Black girl. Just for no reason. She was going to work doing her thing and she just popped up. And I think she juked her to unalivement. Where's the outrage from certain numbers of Asian groups? Huh? Yeah. Right? You see how that goes, right? I find it very highly offensive that happens. Right? But they want you to look at this and say, oh my goodness. Oh, what are we going to do? Again, I'm not talking about the good numbers of Filipinos. So let me go ahead, and because I don't waste too much of your time. So let me go ahead, because I got some other stuff on to quickly show. Because I relay that over to what I showed you just in those couple of videos to set the dynamics. So when you sit there and hear that, you'd be like, what kind of hyper hypocrisy is this? Right? So let me go ahead and show this for a second. I mean, it's an interesting dynamic, the games that are played. Right? Let me make sure I got this right. All right. I think here we go. All right. Now it's only about a couple of minutes, I think, at that maybe. Now keep this in mind. This is a video about relating to this topic as well. And watch how their aura is like, oh my goodness, some people gonna help us. Let me sure you can see this. All right. Make sure you can see that there. All right. Make sure you maximize that. All right.
If maybe if we weren't Asian, maybe this would have been a different sentence.
Was justice served? Is the question a Las Vegas Filipino family is asking tonight after a judge's decision in a hate crime attack, and in a story that you'll only see on 8. Reporter James Schaefer speaking with the very man who was beaten in his home, seemingly for speaking a different language.
Denise, 3 months in jail. That is how much time will be served by the man who beat then 75-year-old Amadeo Quindara. The family telling me it's not enough, and they ask if, again, race had something to do with it.
God. Oh my goodness. God.
That's Christian Lynn, seconds after beating his neighbor bloody for seemingly speaking Tagalog in his own garage. After 2 years of legal proceedings, Lentz in handcuffs, but facing no prison time, pleading to be mentally ill and describing it as a manic episode. Judge Jennifer Schwartz sentencing him to 90 days of jail time.
He's going to get probation. Fine. All right. But 90 days? The outrage is immense at this point.
Philip Quindaro, with his mother and father, was shocked at the sentencing, expecting at least 4 years.
Oh, and by the way, you see, I guess they thought that, look in the background, got the little American flag hanging over their house, and right? No, we are patriotic. How patriotic? Just putting a flag up don't mean you're patriotic, right? Sometimes that's used as an agenda.
At least 4 years, asking, since this was a crime based on different skin color and language, was the sentencing in.
Oh, by the way, and again, that stop Asian hatred, right? It's very highly offensive. Stop Asian hatred. Stop Asian hatred. What did I sit there and show you those 2 videos? Where to stop Asian hatred on that, right? There are Black Americans that know the anti-American Black hatred by numbers within Asianness. Oh, it's iconic. Oh, there are people who know on that situation, the hatred that certain numbers within Asianness have for American Blacks. I don't like utilizing, again, the genericness of saying Asian, because, again, that's a game. Asia is a continent. What? It's a continent. But you got people that use generically Asian, right? You say, well, what Asia are you talking about? Armenia is a country in Asia, right? Who they look like? They look like personnel within the predominate culture, right? But they're considered they're considered Asian. Iraqis are Asian. Iranians are Asians, right? India from India is Asian. Certain parts of Russia, Asian. Indonesians, Asian, right? You see how that game goes, right? But they just say Asian, just generically. What about Afro-Asians, huh? Oh, see, they don't want to talk about that. So they flee over to America, the ones who do that, and they'll sit there and try to play this little tactic. Oh, my goodness, anti-Asian hatred. But they don't talk about the hatred. They don't take but half a sense of a cocktail to look at numbers of Asian personnel showing hatred toward American blacks. And I find that highly damn offensive, especially to the American black ancestors who fought in this country more than anybody else. Some of the ones who fought in the military more than anybody else. People, nobody comes close to the American black in fighting in the military. Nobody, except ones within the predominant culture. The ones who have lost more lives in the military in wars and conflicts is American blacks. Nobody comes close. Besides certain ones with predominant culture, and the nerve of some damn people that flee and try to act like that. Oh my goodness, what are you going to do about anti-Asian hatred? The freaking nerve. They got some nerve.
Influenced by that as well.
If maybe if we weren't Asian, maybe this would have been a different sentence.
The family has been aided in the past 2 years since the attack by groups advocating to stop Asian hate, like Bamboo Bridges, who helped support the family before this interview.
Everybody is concerned about us, and I thank you very much for them. Yeah, we cannot do this without them.
Lanita says she is thankful.
Look at the face. You see how they put that face on there? The innocent face, right? The puppy dog eyes. Oh my God, what are you going to do? You going to help us in this anti-Asian hatred? But then we asked him, what about Black American, anti-American black hatred that's been going on before your ass was alive, before your family was alive, before your great-great-grandmother, for your great-great-granddad, for your great-great-grandmother, for great-great-great, we're even in this country. I find it extremely highly offensive when people play these little tactics. It was wrong what that little racial racism terrorist did. At the same time, I find it highly offensive when people try to act like it's some gigantic anti-Asian hatred put upon them, and especially before the second term of Trump, when they previous 4 years, you had a certain type of people. Oh my goodness, you need to have a talk. What kind of talk? No, to black people, about this anti-Asian hatred. And you be like, what? You don't go to hell with that game. Because they kept trying to play, few little black folks. They try to act like black folks are sitting there just magnetometer, sitting there attacking Asians and stuff like that. And they found out the shit was a lie. The overall amount of people who were attacking them as Asians were Anglo personnel. It's a highly offensive. And the shit succeeded. And very small amount of black people call that shit out. And the problem is that it wasn't enough at all.
But hesitates to call what happened to her husband justice. And just feet away from where he was attacked, Amadeo agreed and expressed dismay in the sentencing and asked what would have happened if the roles were reversed.
Would I get the same 3 months if I did the same thing to him? I go in that place that I got in there. I don't know. Maybe not, right?
Now, the family told me Christian Lentz does not live on that same street anymore, and he moved out actually last year. As for Kindara, well, he still sits in his same garage after this incident, this not stopping him from enjoying life and saying what he wants to say.
Ain't that interesting? They don't tell him to get over things, right? They didn't tell them to get over things, right? Again, I found it very highly offensive. And it's an insult to the Black American ancestors who have lost their lives in America, especially because of Black pain. And you got other people that flee from other countries and backgrounds. I'm not talking about the ones who are still humble. Okay, come to America, give a few opportunities. They, they do their thing. They don't try to disrespect American blacks because they know without American black, many wouldn't even be in this country. Right? But no. Oh, there are quite a number of many who flee from various countries and backgrounds and different things. In this situation, again, there are some good numbers of Filipinos. There are some bad ones, right? We're talking about the ones that are coons, right? The ones that sit there and the ones that play both fences, right? They'll smile in your face, right? And then same time, sitting there say, oh my goodness, won't Black American people start committing crimes, right? Black American people don't commit the most crimes, right? You see the game. Now, relating to the story, how many of these same Filipino families will jump up and down about this? Huh? Colored waiting room. See, that's what that disgusting people of color, minority switch, it needs to be thrown in the trash can of space too. And unfortunately, there's millions of American blacks that keep regurgitating this bull crowd, talking about people of color, communities of color, minority. When they say colored waiting room, do you think they was talking about Filipinos or Chinese or Sri Lankans or Indonesians or Iranians or Iraqis, right? Pakistanians, right? Of course not. This right here, relating to this family, that damn family wasn't even in the country of America when this was going on like that. Right now in 2025, it's estimation about a little bit over 4 million Filipinos are in America. Less than 100 years ago, 1925, there was less than 100,000. Let me repeat that. It was less than 100,000, less than about 100,000 Filipinos in America in 1925. Now, 2025, about 100 years later, it's a little bit more than 4 million. And that really didn't jump up to around around 1970s, 1980s, right? Just like some other cultures and backgrounds, right? Anyone going all that. You see how that goes, right? And so they don't talk about this, but they want you to just pay attention to that part, right? But when it comes down to saying, hey, what have y'all been doing to sit there and stand with solidarity with American black? Now, American black don't need them for shit to sit there and fight their battles. They've been fighting battles before many of them, 99,000% were even arrived in America. But they say, okay, since you want to talk about people of color and all that stuff, and my brothers and sisters, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and demand political personnel? What about you going to demand certain Asian personnel to get an anti-American black hatred law passed? Are you going to sit there and jump up and down at your Asian organization to sit there and say, hey man, we need to sit there and stand with American blacks, right? I mean, they help build this country more than us, right? We need help. We need to stand with them. What do many of them do if you start talking like that? Yep. They do what now? Yes. It's funny, but it's not funny, right? But again, just want you to pay attention to that, right? But watch this for a second. Now this is an Asian person too.
Say what you said again. Black people secured their freedoms after the Civil War. It is a historical fact, Don. Just study it. Only after their Second Amendment rights were secured.
That's not secured their freedoms after the Civil War. That is not. You are discounting Reconstruction. You're discounting a whole host of things that happened after the Civil War when it comes to African Americans, including the whole reason that the civil rights movement happened is because black people did not secure their freedoms after the Civil War, and that things turned around. People tried to change the freedoms that were supposed to happen.
And you know how they got it? They got their Second Amendment rights, and they actually got the NRA played a big role in that. But today, Don,
the NRA did not play a big role in that.
Absolutely, they trained black Americans how to use firearms.
That's a lie. That's not. The NRA did not play a big role in it.
The nerve. Hold on.
Just historical fact, but down
the nerve. He said that particular boom boom organization played a big fact of our help and trying to help black folks get free. Is this freaking people duck shit crazy? You had in the 1800s, they didn't even want black folks to sit there and have boom boom piece of equipment to protect themselves. This fool crazy. But see, you got some of these numbers of Anglo Indians, who are considered Asians, who have a hatred for American blacks, right? But they're hot under the generic Asianist flag. He even talked like he wanted to be an Anglo, right? Listen to this high tone of voice.
The part that I find,
because you say it's historical
the part that I find insulting is when you say today Black Americans don't have those rights after we have gone through the civil rights revolution in this country.
You are sitting here telling an African American about the rights and what you find insulting about the
And the nerve of this freaking wannabe Anglo. This fool. Now he's highly educated, which means don't mean you have common sense. And he's actually insulting American blacks. And he was supposed to be the presidential candidate, or he wanted to be the presidential candidate. So could you imagine President Vivek? Oh my goodness, you're talking about the enormous more of Indians from India that he would have wanted to come to America to be a buffer, even more, right? To sit there and step over, to step over black people even more. Let me rephrase that. Didn't build a damn country up at all whatsoever. Where's all these Indians from India, these Asians, right? In the 1600s. Oh, I forgot they weren't no such thing like that. Where's all these Indians from India in the 1700s like that? Oh, I forgot there was no such damn thing like that, right? Where's old Vivek, who is a latecomer, right? Family member of family, fled from India. He shows the hell up, slides under the banner of black, right? Did he slide under his colleges? Under some kind of generic people of color minority switchery type of tactic. See the game, and I'm telling you, I find it highly offensive when you got people like, person of that slot under that banner, and then have the nerve when they finish their little colleges or get their little business and stuff like that, they got off of the backbone, the black painness, right? They get these little programs that most black folks don't even know about, but the system gives them programs and benefits and stuff like that they don't allow black people to get. Right? That's highly offensive.
The way I live, the skin I live in every day.
Here's where you and I have a different point of view.
Black and white that black people don't have in this country, and that black people do have.
Well, here's where you and I have a different point of view. I think we should be able to express our views regardless of the color of our skin. We should have this debate without me regarding you as a black man, but me regarding you as a fellow citizen.
You're
That's what I
sitting
think we
here,
should say.
whatever ethnicity you are, explaining to me
Whatever ethnicity
about
I'm,
what it's like to be black.
Whatever ethnicity I'm, I'll tell you what I am. I'm an Indian American. I'm proud of it. But I think we.
What did he say? He said he's an Indian American. So they'll play their Indian American when they want to play their Indian American. Then they'll sit there and play their American when they want to be, say, an American. Still off the black pain of American blacks. And it's highly offensive, but he's Asian. White Asian. Anglo-Asian or Anglo-Indian, right? The nerve of some of these personnel. But they didn't have to sit there and worry about this colored waiting room. You think this colored waiting room has something to do with Indians from India that weren't even around like that? Huh? Did they have a bloody Sunday? Huh? The numbers of Filipinos, the numbers of Indians from India, the numbers of Chinese, the numbers of Sri Lankans, the numbers of Indonesians, the numbers of Iranians, huh? The numbers of Pakistanians. Did they sit there, certain parts of Russia that's considered Asian? Did they have to go through this? Call it the rating room? Huh? I don't think so. Again, did they have to have a bloody Sunday in Selma, around 1965, I think it was? Huh? Did they have to worry about that? No. Did they have to have a freedom boom boom summer or freedom rides and stuff like that? We had certain type of, should we say, buses that were boom boomed, right? Because black folks just wanted to ride a damn bus like anybody else. The numbers of Indians from India had to worry about that? Hell no. The numbers of Filipino had to worry about that? Hell no, they didn't. Again, the numbers of Iranians and Iraqis, they're Asian. I'm telling you, I find it very highly damn offensive, man. And then you got these certain types of Asian organizations. You know they are. Let me do their thing, but it's like I find it very highly offensive when they act like it's, oh my goodness, we got to stop anti-Asian hatred. Go to hell with that game. The number one people who have the most hatred put upon them is American blacks. What kind of shit is that? And there's just not enough American blacks saying, who the hell do y'all think y'all are? Who the hell do y'all think y'all are? You're talking about anti-Asian hatred, stop that. But at the same time, before Trump, the second time Trump, within the last 4 years, they got the anti-Asian hatred law passed fast. And they utilized Black Americans as the cannon fodder to act like American blacks were beating down Asians. I found that very hollow damn offensive. And they found out that it was numbers of Anglo males who were doing that. But again, they know that millions of American black people are naive and keep allowing people to insult American blacks, right? This is oh, look at, we're going to stop anti-Asian hatred. But they won't talk about numbers of Asians who sit there and beat on physically, mentally American blacks. Again, for the people who are listening, I put inside at the beginning of the show, but it's in the description, 2 different type of podcasts. One was Thao, the little coward Asian version, who sit there, was right next to the coward KKK, nasty knee, demonic devil, demonicness, Chauvin, Derek Chauvin, who had his knees on the Black American George Floyd, who was suffering from some kind of mental situation for 10 minutes almost. And Thao, the little coward version of Asianness, that whatever one he's from on that, he sat there and didn't do nothing. Nothing. Oh, but some of these these Asian groups, the ones applies to, they don't want to talk about that. And the other video I put in there with the link in there is about this little shit. She's this little angelic looking Asian demonicism, right behind the odds of evil. She sat there and juked. She knifed up. I think she knifed up this American black girl who was minding her business. She was just going to work. And this little angelic demonic being, this particular Asian one, she went up to her and juked her, I think, to unalivement. But where's all these various Asian organizations talking about that? Hell no. And I found it very hollow damn offensive that ones who do that shit. They playing both fences, but I understand it's a brilliant thing because they say, well, they saying piss off on American blacks who don't checkmate us. I got it right on this. But again, when you sit there and ask, hey man, what are they gonna do about being there for American blacks who been there for Asians left and right, huh? On that, and allowing numbers of Asians to slot under the people of color and minority banner. What are you gonna do for American blacks yourselves? This is what they do. Right? Just like I sit there and showed you just this white Asian. This guy would have been to think he would have been a president. He could have been a president, which he would never. Vivek, these are white Indians. Bobby Jindal, I think he was a governor or whatever he was, something out of Louisiana a few years back, right? And they was trying to pop him up to sit there and maybe be a presidential candidate, right? And he talked like he wanted to be Anglo so bad too. He just fizzled out. Vivek, he's pretty much done with too. Is his political part. He'll never go anywhere, right? But he's also what people look at him as an Anglo-Asian or Anglo-Indian, right? That have the nerve to insult American blacks, the ones who know about him, right? But like this situation with this story with this particular Filipino, and again, there are some great Filipinos. We're not talking about them. So go to hell, the ones who try to play. We're talking about the one that played offenses. The one that want to be like, they want to be an Anglo-Filipino. Oh, yeah, you can hear that word too much. Anglo-Filipinos, right? The ones who play both fences. And again, in America, there's only about 4 million, a little bit more than 4 million Filipinos. They make around about 1% of the entire U.S. population, 1%. And Black Americans make up around 13.5 to 14 in general, about 42, 43 million Black American people, right? Put the gains on this. But again, where are they at? And black folks dealing with this? Huh? Last thing I want to sit there and show is this right here. Let's see where are they at when this was happening.
Walked out of the Democratic convention, formed their own party.
The Southern revolt against President Truman reaches its climax at Birmingham under the states' rights banner.
The so-called Dixiecrats nominated the South Carolina governor Strom Thurmond as their presidential candidate.
There's not enough troops in the army to force their Southern people to break down segregation and admit the Negro race. To force their Southern people to break down segregation and admit the Negro race into our theaters, into our swimming pools, into our homes, and into our churches.
Walked out of the Democratic convention, formed their own party.
The Southern revolt against President Truman reaches its climax at Birmingham under the states' rights banner.
The so-called Dixiecrats nominated the South Carolina Governor Strom Thurmond as their presidential candidate.
There's not enough troops in the army to force their Southern people to break down segregation and admit the Negro race into our theaters, into our swimming pools, into our homes, and into our churches.
Where did he say Filipinos? Where did he say Pakistani, Indians from India, Sri Lankans, Indonesians, Chinese, Vietnamese, South Koreans, Armenians, Iranians, Iraqis, because they're considered Asian. Asia is a continent, not a particular person. Certain parts of Russia is considered Asian. Where was all that conversation about them in this video? It wasn't. This is 1940s. This is why the power of history is very important. So 1940s was so 2025, 100 years ago, would have been 1925. So this video was still less than 100 years ago. This is why the N word needs to be destroyed and thrown into space. It is a disturbing, it is a dastardly, it is an evil word. And yes, there are some Black Americans who use that word. By the way, 900,000% do not use that word. So that bull crap little excuse, that don't work. And they'll say a few little Black people that use the word, that's them that having their little issues. So the other cultures and backgrounds and who know they want to use one of the most destructive words ever created in America. And they want to use it. Do you see how that sounds? But Black Americans better not try to talk some kind of slang about some other cultures and backgrounds like that. You understand that? They better not go to another country and some little slang that's no comparison to the N word. They better not go to another country and be trying to use some kind of certain word that's derogatory to some other ethnic group. Oh, you best believe they're all kind of derogatory, intra-ethnic slang derogatory terminologies in various other countries. Now, American Blacks ain't gonna know it overall, right? But if American Blacks is over there, the ones who are in other different countries who heard about certain things with this, hey man, that ethnic group over there, they're lazy, they're this, they're criminal. You see how that little game go? They're sneaky. And American Blacks will be like, oh, they are? And they say, yeah, man, this is what you call them. You call them the Chickakas. What the hell is a Chicka? Oh, man, Chicka, man. That just means that they're Black Americans better not do that stuff. Oh, you go to Africa, certain parts of Africa, which whatever that's supposed to mean, because Africa is generic. That it's like Africa is made up of thousands of other different ethnic, anyway, thousands of languages, hundreds of thousands of other different tribes, right? But you got people just saying generically African when they want to utilize that, right? Or to utilize the word generically Black when they flee over to America, right? You can see the game. But then when it's Black pain, oh, no, I'm of that ethnic tribe. You see how that game goes, right? However it goes. But it say American Black, some of the ones that's in certain parts of Africa, and they say, oh, that's an ethnic tribe over there, in that area, right? This particular ethnic tribe that are very powerful over there in certain realms of politicalness, and certain one of them saying, hey man, those tribes over there, the Kawawa people. What the hell is a Kawawa people? That Kawawa people? Oh man, they are just nothing. Ugh, don't deal with them. No, we call them. We call them. What is that? Oh man, that's just the slang we use toward them. And the Black first, hey, what's up? What's up? They be like, hey, nobody use that word. Why not, man? Other people use it. I mean, to me, it's common sense. It's beyond common sense. But people play American blacks like fools every day, with very few exceptions, right? And they want to use the N word, the nerve. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show.
The Southern revolt against President Truman reaches its climax at Birmingham under the states' rights banner.
The so-called Dixiecrats nominated the South Carolina Governor Strom Thurmond as their presidential candidate.
There's not enough troops in the army to force the Southern people to break down segregation and admit the Negroes into our theaters, into our swimming pools, into our homes, and into our churches.
But let's just pay attention to this, right? Mm-hmm.
Exit station left.